A family bikes down the street in a four-person bicycle invention, 1939. Children playing in a Manchester street, England, 1943. Navy Lieutenant Robert Stack teaches Lana Turner how to salute, October 1944. 17-year-old Rowan Sebastian Atkinson, future Mr. Bean, United Kingdom, 1972. Somewhere in Rome, 1959, photographer Elliot Erwitt. The legendary Claude Monet in his studio in Giverny, France, 1900 to 1920. Elvis Presley waits for eggs and bacon in a cafe the same time a black woman waits for a sandwich. You can't sit down with white people, Tennessee, 1956. Harley-Davidson School for Motorcycle Mechanics, 1917. Milkman making his deliveries despite the flood in Buckinghamshire, 1954. Kids playing, New York, 1940s. Pedestrians look through a restaurant window to watch a cook prepare a pot of spaghetti in New York City, 1937. The first British motorist to be caught speeding. Walter Arnold was driving a car at 12 kilometers per hour, speed limit 3 kilometers per hour. A policeman gave chase on a bicycle and caught the offender, 1896. Saying goodbye to Daddy, Second World War. A picture of a typical family and home of the Ozark Mountains, Franklin County, Arkansas, 1914. Walt Disney playing with his daughters in the living room of the house, USA, 1940. Snow-covered New York in 1917. Little girl and her kitty, Harlem, 1949. Portrait of a smiling young boy, 134 years ago. Aerial acrobat, USA, 1922. Elvis Presley on a Harley, 1950s. Jules Verne, French writer, classic of adventure literature, one of the founders of the science fiction genre, 1884. Sheikh Zayed reviews the Abu Dhabi construction plan, 1974. Brunettes boycott the 1953 film Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. Clara Zetkin, chairwoman of the German Communist Party, Berlin, 1924. Brigitte Bardot in a bar, 1955. A photograph of a traditional Chinese wedding saddle chair in which the bride is carried to her wedding. The journey in this design symbolizes the transition of the bride from one family to another, 1870 to 1880. Wild animal trainer Stepan Denisov with tiger cubs choosing meat for them in a market, Moscow, USSR, the 1st of October 1974. Lillian Russell, one of the most famous actresses and singers of the late 19th century, 1882. Winston Churchill couldn't get past the cute kitty, London, 1952. Valentina Tereshkova is the only woman in the world to have made a space flight alone, and Neil Armstrong, 1970. Marilyn Monroe at President John F. Kennedy's birthday party, 1962. A man poses with a donkey on his lap, 1910s. A housewife removes frozen clothes from a rope, 1940s. Delivery of a brontosaurus statue to a science museum, USA, 1984. Belka, a Soviet dog who made a space flight on the Sputnik 5 spacecraft on the 19th of August, 1960. Actress Jill St. John, Leonid Brezhnev, General Secretary of the Soviet Union and U.S. President Nixon, 1973. Sir Charles Spencer Chaplin KB was an English comic actor, filmmaker, and composer who rose to fame in the era of silent film, 1918. Women in swimming costumes try to push a sunken BMW car out of the water, Germany, 1934. Maggie Smith, aka Professor McGonagall from Harry Potter, 1960. Walt Disney on the beach in Rio de Janeiro, 1941. Filming of the legendary Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer studio screensaver, under the direction of film director Alfred Hitchcock, 1958. A cleaner at the Royal College of Surgeons in England, titties up human skulls, early 20th century. Musicians play for cows to see if music affects the amount of milk produced by cows, 1930. Mr. Silidos, a baker, has designed a delivery van in which the driver's cab and body are in the shape of loaves of bread, 1925. A naked Marilyn Monroe in front of President John F. Kennedy. The unique photo could have caused an incredible scandal in the public if it had been published earlier. But it's a staged photo with doppelgangers. In reality, no intimate photos of Monroe and Kennedy existed. A mother drives her children to school during a flood. England, 1935. Future leader of the Cuban Revolution, Fidel Castro in New York Central Park, USA, 1955. London Circus, 1930s. A guy and a girl with painted eyes at the Art Students League Ball in New York in 1955. 3 million volts struck a Westinghouse Electric Corporation car. In Pittsburgh during a lightning test, 1940s, the passenger was unharmed. Rosalind Russell cycling on the set of Trouble with Angels, 1966. The writer Francis Scott Fitzgerald wrote only when he was drunk. Coming back from the bar, he could produce about 8,000 words, but once sober, he lost the skill. As a result, when writing Tender is the Night, he could not stand sober even 3 to 4 hours a day, not counting sleep, although, according to the writer, he needed to be sober for editing. British actress Jessie Matthews in a huge headdress for the review Evergreen, 1934. One of the living pyramids at the end of the opening ceremony of the 1980 Summer Olympics in Moscow, at the Luzhniki Stadium. Veronica Lake and I Married a Witch, 1942. Harley with child seat, 1962. World War II. Readers continued to visit the library after it was bombed. London, 1940. Legendary Italian film legend Sophia Loren, circa 1955. For Generations in One Shot, circa 1905. Angry kangaroo knocking out a woman for trying to photograph him, 1960s. Marilyn Monroe wins a Golden Globe in 1960 for the film Henrietta. David Isom, 19, broke the white line in a segregated pool in Florida on the 8th of June 1958, that leading to the closure of the facility. Natalie Wood, 1950s, American actress who began her career in film as a child and successfully transitioned to young adult roles. On this beautiful picture, I finished today's video. Thank you all for watching. If you liked it, please post a like and do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Well, be sure to comment. Bye everybody, take care.